Thank you all for coming. It's really nice to be here. I'd like to invite some of my colleagues up onto the stage. Alan, no, up on aquí. Francisco Nava, Anita Torres Guerrero, Jose Aquino, Gaby de Beso y señora Margarita, por favor.
Gaby's going to help us with a lot of the translation because her translation is better than mine.
Francisco, I want to thank you for these beautiful banners. They're gorgeous.
These are our new lonas, and we wanted to simplify what we do and put more images on there. So when you get a chance, come on up and read the fine text, if you will. And I see I have to redo them because I see a few mistakes that I made.
Okay. So good morning. Thank you for coming. My name, you already know, is Doris, and I moved here from Canada about 15 years ago. I was never really had time to be a volunteer before I moved here while I was still working. Well, my parents had been volunteered, so it was sort of programmed into me that you do volunteering. And I listened to a podcast recently by a neuroscientist a neurosurgeon actually, who said that volunteering and doing good things stimulates these wonderful parts of your brain that release oxytocin or some kind of high kind of feeling, and it's highly recommended and extends your life. So there you go. Today I'm going to tell you some stories, and I've always felt that good deeds were like ripples in a pond. It really works for me because, you know, you put your quarter in the basket and you never know that does any good in the world at all. But actually, every little drip makes this massive ripple effect in the ponds. And so I'm going to tell you some stories about the ripples. I'm going to put glasses on. Here we go. Okay. The first little ripple, was that my sister in Ontario called me and said, in 2016, and said, can we come and visit and stay with you? She'd heard about a local Rotary Club that was coming down here for a medical mission, and though she's not a doctor, she's actually an incredible artist. She thought that she could visit her sister and help with managing kids or something at this medical clinic. So we said yes, and Carrie Higgins and my sister Josie went out to San Pedro, a town they'd never seen, 28 kilometers away from here, to help with this medical mission. Anita was informed about 24 hours in advance that this was going to happen because that's just the way things went. And Anita and her team of brigadistas, her brigade of youth that were learning to be first responders, got organized. And in the morning, there were 200 people there waiting to see the clinics, all with a ticket, all in a row, all beautifully organized and like just wonderful people. So that phone call was the first ripple in my story. So here we are 9 years later. Before we get into the stories, though, I want to introduce you to San Pedro Itzicán. It's a town nestled tightly between the lake and the steep mountain. It's mostly for kilometers and kilometers, it's one narrow street, and then you get to the town and it's about 4 or 5 blocks wide. 7,000 people live there. I think half of them are under the age of 16. 30 to 40% are illiterate. They have one of the highest rates of chronic kidney disease of unknown cause in the world. Since 2019, Anita's been keeping a list of the patients that are on dialysis or hemodialysis that she's known about. There's 177 people on that list. I think over 50 have died. Most of them, they're very young. This year we lost 2 kids La edad de los dos niños que murieron este año son
9 y 12 años.
Yeah.
Can I interject something here, Doris? When we first started working in the pueblos of San Pedro Itzicán, we were seeing deaths mostly with older people. But then it started to gradually change, and now, unfortunately, the people who are sick and dying are the younger people. And so we've been studying the problem there all these years because no one had a specific definition of what was going on. And we've realized that it's a combination of several factors. Bad water, malnutrition, illiteracy. The towns traditionally were very isolated. They still sort of remain that way. One town, even though it runs right into the next, they wouldn't go in and out of each other's towns. So there was inbreeding happening amongst family members. And then we also found that there are genetic markers that are at play. There are some families that have an unusually high incidence of renal failure. And so we've been researching this and trying to find out if these are the actual causes. And so today, that's the way we understand it. And I just want to give you a little bit of background, okay?
There's also a pollution and contamination issue. Like the University of California, Berkeley campus, and ITESO a few years ago were studying the water and found that because that thermal well happens to have a high metal content, it has arsenic in it. The drinking water in the homes, like where you find cups and garrafons and whatever, all the ones that they tested were contaminated with coliform and some with E. coli. There's a type of E. coli that's a precursor that causes kidney failure, and because they don't have water, like because a lot of them don't have a water supply, they're drinking water from the lake. And at the moment, the lake is really low, and it's also very high in metal, and this town is not that far from where the Lerma River dumps into the lake. And the Lerma River, I think, passes through 7 states and a lot of industrial areas. So yeah, they have a lot going for them. The older people will tell us that 30 years ago there was no kidney disease. Okay, and they have 1 doctor. So my first wonderful story is about Jose Regino. Hola, Jose.
Who we have here today with us.
Yeah.
He's in the center over here with the baseball cap.
Yeah. We met Jose a long time ago when he was a teenager. At that time, a first responder in training. He was a volunteer. He finished high school, went to teachers college where he was a student, when his education was interrupted for hemodialysis. He became a young man fighting for his life. Absolutely true, I remember. A kidney transplant came along. He got a kidney transplant, sorry. There was a long recovery. They do have long recoveries from kidney transplants. But when he was ready, he started to help again as a volunteer in the community. And then he got stronger, and he became a hiking guide for senderos, whose mission is to protect the lake. And then now he's working in a bakery. So that's another story. We have a bakery, and Jose is working there. And I've asked Jose. I want to tell you that Jose is having a very positive impact on the world. And people often ask or think, what's the point of funding hemodialysis? You know, it's one person. But that's not true. It's not one person. It's a person that is going to make a big difference in this world. And so I've invited Jose to talk to us. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. My name is Jose. I am of the community San Pedro. Soy una persona trasplantada de hace 2 años. Tuve insuficiencia renal hace 5 años. Empecé como voluntario brigadista hace alrededor de unos 6-5 años aproximadamente.
I'm gonna translate.
Okay, I'm gonna help translate. Well, he's been recovering from kidney disease. He's part of the community of San Pedro, and well, right now he is part of Poco, and he's been helping. Well, we are helping him, and he is helping us. And
Aproximadamente he estado aquí alrededor de unos 5 o 6 años. Empecé desde muy chico, enfermo, y gracias a la señora Ana por ese impulso que tuvo el hacerme la invitación de no aislarme por la enfermedad y eso, de empezar poco a poco.
he's been sick for 6 years. I mean, he started younger with this illness, and for the past 6 years, thanks to Anita, that has been helping him, she has been pushing him to get better, get the medication, get the treatments, and well, have a goal and a purpose, and he's been getting better for sure.
Thank you so very much. Quisiera también el ecoturismo que se está promoviendo en la comunidad de San Pedro. Quisiera más que nada invitar a quien le guste el senderismo, el montañismo, para poder recibir gente, podernos apoyar.
He's been working with Senderos de Mexico to build up a trail hike with all the proper signs and everything, and he wants to promote ecotourism in San Pedro. So if you guys are interested in hiking and walking around the mountain, he is inviting you guys to come over, to invite other people, and to promote ecotourism over in that side too.
It is a pleasure. Thank you so very much.
It's a pleasure. And,
is the working. Trabajo en la panadería. Aproximadamente es una cooperativa donde todos trabajamos. Trabajamos alrededor de unas 12 personas.
he also works at the bakery that Doris will tell you a little bit more about it, and it's around 12 people that have been working there. So, well, basically, Jose Regino is participating in all the projects, and he's a live proof that whatever Poco a Poco and Arina has been doing, it's working.
Just a little addendum to that. The Mexican sweetbread, the pan de dulce that you see for sale today, is a product of our bakery. And so I just wanted to point that out because they get good reviews. People say it's very good bread. So why don't you test them? Yeah. Who will pick up word, Doris?
I am. I'm going to talk briefly about the community center.
Okay. Have a mic.
Oh yeah. Okay. So we bounced around for several years from one small location to another, and in 2021, in 2021, we raised enough money to buy a piece of land. So we did. We bought a piece of land 20 meters by 20 meters for $7,500 US.
And this was indigenous land, so we, as outsiders, could not ask to have this land assigned to us. But because Anita has been helping there for about 20 years now, the indigenous community made her an honorary member. And through her, we were able to ask for the land so that we can use it for a community center in perpetuity, as long as we continue doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Luckily, one of our team bumped into an architect. I'm going to call him Nacho. It's a long name. Not much time here. And so he's an architect professor from the Tecnológico de Monterrey, normally Monterrey Tech it's called, in Guadalajara. He had second-year students who needed a project, and designing our community center became their project. And the method that they used was incredible. So first the students had to come to San Pedro many times. They had to meet adults and have workshops with adults to find out what all the needs were and what the situation was in San Pedro. And eventually they were, drawing together with the adults, making community-centered designs with blocks and Play-Doh. They did the same with the kids in a kid-friendly way. There were kids who wanted to grow up and be architects after that. The women that ran the food programs, they cooked alongside. So the students had to learn how to make traditional food it went on and on. Like they were heavily involved, and then they had designs. There was a contest. They presented it to stakeholders. A design was chosen, and then they came out and watched their design being constructed. They were super proud. They said that was their best class of the entire year. They graduate this June, and they probably will still be saying that that was their best class. And Francisco told me recently about how this will affect those kids for the rest of their lives. And what did you say?
I said that as undergraduate or graduate students, we don't get a lot of opportunity to have a practical exercise. And I know myself as a student going through that process, it was those practical moments that helped me propel me into my future. So I understand how valuable they are. So it's been wonderful on both sides. We get a design for our community center that is a collaboration, a collection of everybody's input. And then they also get this practical experience just about to graduate, so they can take that with them for the rest of their lives.
Right.
Thank you. So the next thing I wanted, so that's a big ripple in a big pond, right? Because that's just going to go on and on and on. The next thing I'd like to talk about is education. I mean, we've been doing education since the get-go. That was the first thing we wanted. That's what Anita was doing when we met her. But this is a story about primary school. So on August 24th, a couple weeks after school started, Carrie made a post on Facebook and said that it costs roughly 2,000 pesos to enroll a kid, uniform, school supplies, all this kind of stuff. Steve Cross and Mark Scrivenak saw Carrie's post, and they went and they posted, "Come to Black Coffee. We'll be there for a few hours collecting donations for education." And so they did. Dale Paltry saw the post, and she turned it into an article in the Guadalajara Reporter. Dale is wonderful. So a couple of $1,000s were raised, and 30 families received financial assistance to enroll their kids in school. It was enabling about 54 kids. So Anita, being Anita, set up a very fair and thorough registration process at the community center. Every family had to come with the identification of each child and other documentation, explain their financial situations, and fill in many forms. And explain what they needed. Some needed shoes and uniforms. Some just needed help with enrollment and supplies. One girl needed everything. And I know that little girl very well. She's 11 years old, she's extremely bright, and she wants to become a doctor. So the kids started school in September, a few weeks late. And we immediately discovered that there's a law in Mexico, that when you enroll in school for the first time, you're put in a grade according to your age. So you're 10 years old in grade 5 and you're illiterate because you've never been to school. So we thought, oh no. So Anita quickly found a teacher in Poncitlan and a student teacher doing apprentice hours, and set up a literacy and math class at our community center before school 3 days a week. And so it's pretty amazing to watch. I mean, the kids are trying so hard, and they're making progress. So I would like to invite Anita to talk a little bit. Oh wait, I forgot one thing. Another little education story. There's an organization in Mexico that has a huge boarding school in Chalco for girls. There's 900 girls there. The programs are incredible.
And Chalco is located outside of Mexico City.
Yeah, they do taekwondo and dance and biology and on and on. And it's a 5-year program. Chalco es 5 años. It's a 5-year program. They come out of that, in their last year they choose a specialty, so they come out with certification in many fields of interest. But so they pass the exams, they're going to this high school that's free, but they need transportation money 4 times a year for the girls and their moms to go back and forth. Christmas, summer, that kind of thing. And so I called my sister because I found out just a few days before they had to go. So that's another fabulous ripple. And Charles and I, Charles Chartier is not here today, but he and I interviewed the mums and the kids when they came back to see how things were going. And it was just phenomenal. They were so happy. They loved everything. They loved the sports and the classes. They loved biology and a class called Formation and Civics, and they were starting to dream about their careers. And the one thing that mums and kids all said is that they miss each other terribly, but they know that it's going to be worth it for generations to come. So I'm going to invite Anita to say a little bit more about education.
Buenos días. Empezaré mi participación dando un agradecimiento principalmente por esta atención de recibirnos. Contarles que gracias a ustedes, no es quien está de este lado, es quien está de aquel lado. Porque muchas caras, muchas aportaciones, mucho trabajo, gente que ha creído en nosotros y nos ha estado acompañando durante todo este proceso en el programa de Poco a Poco.
I would like to start by thanking you guys because it's you, not us, who can make this possible. And she's been seeing a few familiar faces that have been helping with donations and with the projects that she's been working on in San Pedro. And she's really grateful for all the help that you guys can bring us for San Pedro, the community.
Este proyecto lo han construido ustedes, porque nosotros solamente hemos sido la mano que pidió la ayuda, pero ustedes verdaderamente, la mayoría, la comunidad extranjera, ha sido quien ha creado esta obra, junto con mis compañeros que han sido la voz más allá de lo que nosotros hemos pedido.
We have been the hand that asks for help, but you guys have been the actual help that has made this possible. And I want to thank the foreign community that has been supporting us since so long, and this group that has also been the way to take the help to the community.
Este proyecto inició con el dolor, con el corazón de ayudar a los enfermos renales de cáncer en las emergencias comunitarias de salud en las comunidades originarias de Poncitlán. Con el tiempo se transformó no solamente en brindar el apoyo emocional, buscarle las emergencias, ayudar a que sobrevivieran nuestros niños, nuestros jóvenes en las comunidades. Este proyecto ahora se transformó en un proyecto educativo, de dar herramientas, de crecimiento, de que cuando tú veas en la página de San Pedro Itzicán, no veas muerte, veas vida, lo bonito, todo lo que tiene, lo cultural, todo lo hermoso, y recobrar la esencia de las comunidades originarias del municipio de Poncitlán.
I'm gonna try. Okay, so she started working with poverty, suffering, sadness, sickness. It started with kidney disease, cancer, kids, hungry kids. And step by step, the project has been changing, transforming into an educational program, into like an integrate program that goes beyond this. And the intention, or what we can see right now, or what we want, is that it's a project of hope, of happiness, of joy, of community, of, like health, like just change that from what it started to where we're going right now. And
Bueno, no quiero alargar tanto, pero sí agradecer. Yo creo que el día de hoy venía en ese plan de agradecerles a ustedes. Ante ustedes yo me quito el sombrero. Ustedes son los importantes aquí para nuestro proyecto educativo, cultural, de abrir esa puerta a las personas de las comunidades originarias, dar la herramienta. La primera vez que llegué yo aquí a Jijí, llegué pidiendo para comer, después para salud, después para que la gente trabaje y tenga las herramientas. Hoy hemos crecido y tenemos todo eso. Gracias a quienes, a cada uno de la comunidad extranjera, mexicanos también, pero en su mayoría la comunidad extranjera, que ha creído en nuestros proyectos y esperemos en poco tiempo mostrarles más allá de lo que son las comunidades originarias.
okay, so again, this saying in Spanish, I take my hat for you guys. Me quito el sombrero, because she's really thankful for you guys, all the foreign community that helps out to make this project a reality. And when she got here, she was basically asking for food, starting because the hunger was too much, and then it was for education and for clothes, and it started building up, and right now there is a consolidated program and project that, thanks to this community of you guys, it's now a reality, and it's been helping our Poco a Poco association to be part of the help.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt. Shannon Ford, where are you? Shannon is sitting here. She wrote a feature article about whom we call Saint Anita. It's in the latest issue of Ojo magazine, not to be missed. Thank you, Shannon.
I just wanted to add, when we first went to San Pedro Itzicán, Carrie, Doris, and I started taking out donations, things, just wanting to help. And we started speaking to the people, and we asked them, what is it that you need? What is it that you would like to see? Because we wanted to help, but we wanted to help in the ways that they wanted help. And they said, we want 4 things. They said, first, water. Potable, clean, healthy water. Second, nutrition, because there was so much malnutrition and hunger there in the towns. Third, industry or jobs, because so many of the adults had to leave the villages to go work in Guadalajara, in Jocotepec, here in Ajijic, and they wanted to stay home with their families. And when we first got there, it really, to me, seemed like a town of urchins. There were all these kids running on the street, and they had nowhere to go, so they all ended up at Anita's house, because she would feed them, she would take them in, she would protect them. And then the last thing that they asked for was, we want a sense of pride back in our communities and in ourselves, because that has also gone away. So with those kernels, with those seeds, we started growing these programs. And so that's what you see today is a reflection of what they asked us for.
I keep wanting the mic, but it's right here. We have 10 more minutes that we're allowed to talk. And
Did you want to tell the story of Sochi?
No, I want to tell the story of the lunch program.
Okay.
And I want to invite Alan to speak.
Ask me about Sochi at the end of the...
Yeah, please do. As Francisco said, in San Pedro there was a lot of kids not necessarily getting fed every day. And hunger, like malnutrition in children, affects their brain for the rest of their life. And we've actually seen that firsthand because we've been working getting kids through school, and you can see how hard it is for them. Like it's so there you go. Now you need a lunch program. So we have a lunch program. We have this beautiful community center. We have this beautiful dining space. It's as big as these two tents put together. And there, 180 to 200 kids a day get a hot lunch. The ones that are there for education classes in the morning get a little sandwich or some nutritious drink or something like that. We have a lot of volunteers on the ground. They're like local people that are cooking. There's grandmothers cooking. There's young men and women organizing the kids, cleaning, carrying heavy supplies around, and taking attendance because as a Mexican civil association, we need to keep a lot of records. We have to do a lot of reports. That takes a lot of admin. Any admin experts out there that want to volunteer? So that's another wonderful story. And I want to ask Alan. Alan is operations manager for the lunch program now. He started really working with us full time last fall. He's a godsend. We're so happy about that. And I just want to ask Alan, how's it going in the comedor? That's the dining room.
Hola, buenos días. Mi nombre es Alan. Yo les voy a hablar un poco de lo que es nuestra nutrición, el cual contamos con un comedor comunitario en la comunidad de San Pedro Itzicán. Tenemos alrededor de 218, 220 personas beneficiadas con este programa.
So about the nutrition program, we have the kitchen and the comedor in the centro comunitario, and we have around 200 to 250 kids each day for a whole meal, and we have also people volunteering to prepare it.
Principalmente quiero agradecer a todos y cada uno de ustedes que el día de hoy se reunieron aquí con nosotros para escuchar un poco acerca de nuestro grupo. Lo conformamos prácticamente todos, ¿verdad? Quiero agradecer porque si están aquí es porque, como lo dijo Anita, están convencidos de nuestros proyectos, de que los estamos sacando adelante, y con la colaboración de cada uno de ustedes, que es importantísima, pues estamos llevando a cabo esto.
And I want to point out the things, as Anita was saying, we're really grateful for your support, because without the support that you give us, this project wouldn't be sustainable. And right now we need you basically. We need your help, and we need you to keep us helping with providing what we provide for the community.
Es un poco preocupante y alarmante la escasez que está viviendo la comunidad en cuestión de nutrición, como ahorita lo comentaban, educación, agua. Nosotros ahí como comedor comunitario tratamos de que nuestros alimentos que se le otorgan a cualquier persona que quiera ir a tomar un poco de alimento, pues es bien recibida, tratando de sacar con la mejor calidad y sobre todo con el amor que se necesita para una buena nutrición.
It's been scary, all the problems that this community confronts day by day. And in Centro Comunitario, Poco a Poco, we try to help out as many people as we can, especially kids. And with the effort that we put for doing that, we try to get better and help out more people. So this is why we need you to continue this project.
Bueno, ya para finalizar, quiero agradecer nuevamente por el apoyo que nos han brindado, porque está llegando a buenas manos todos los apoyos que nos hacen llegar y con la convicción de que vamos a trabajar por más. Gracias.
So I just wanted to thank you and let you know that all the help that you guys provide us it's planting a seed that now you can see. So thank you again, and we're going to do our best.
I just want to cover really briefly three more things. David already told you about I have a little bit, no? Yes, I have. Go over. Okay, go over. Uh-oh. I like this guy. Yes. Okay. So I want to do 4 things before we finish. I want to tell you a little bit about this amazing article you're going to find if you pick up the Ojo Del Lago or go on the website and read it there. But you'll learn more about Anita. She grew up in Nayarit. She studied. She became a social worker. She started out as a kid that knew about going without food, that knew about sleeping on the floor, that knew about being bullied, and she just, in spite of it all, became this incredible woman that she is. And you must read that article.
Yes.
Jen, what's the title of your article?
A voice for the vulnerable.
A Voice for the Vulnerable.
Or in Spanish,
Una voz para los vulnerables. Okay. And what page is that? You'll find it easily. There's a index. Yeah.
We're not just into
page 8, she says. So she knows.
So we're not just into primary school education. We have all forms of education going on, like adult training, and Francisco mentioned some of that as well. And we also have, with help from La Corazón de la Tierra, a teaching garden. They've provided rainwater capture for this in the homes of all the students that are participating in the program. They've provided wheelbarrows and shovels and fencing so that they don't only have you teach and build a garden together, but you also get to do it at home. And then Poco supplies location, truck, infrastructure, all the other costs that aren't equipment related. And so here today from the garden project, the teaching garden project, is Margarita and Anita. So I would love you to hear what you would want to say about that, but we are going to get kicked off the stage soon. Okay.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Somos de la escuela campesina y venimos aquí a platicarles para que lo que hacemos aquí en la escuela campesina, sembramos chayote, calabacita, hijote, rábano, y ahorita queremos más semilla para sembrar, herramienta para sembrar también para, no sé, asadones, picos y todo eso, para que nos pueden ayudar con la semilla para sembrar más.
Okay, so she works for the Escuela Campesina, which is this side project that it's just next to the comedor for the kids. And well, they plant different fruits and vegetables from the area, and they take care of it, and they use that for food for the same comedor, and also they sell it and they do things with it as a job. So right now she extended the petition of asking you for seeds or tools or money to buy seeds and tools. That would be super helpful to continue for the project. And thank you. Bravo.
It's also an eco-agricultural training center. They're taught how to make natural fertilizer management, pest control without chemicals. So they're trying to be as healthy as possible because they know that all these efforts will come back to them in the food that they grow. and the food that they eat. So it's a beautiful, sustainable program.
So I got 5 minutes. Thank you. Okay, so just two things. I want to invite Gabby to say something that she's got on her mind. I want all the volunteers that are here from Poco to please stand up. Julia, Johanna, Susanna, Carrie at the back. Jamie, Rita, Shannon. Dave is an ESL teacher and has been working in San Pedro and Mezcala for a long time. Not at this moment, but programs, that's a good point. So programs come and go, volunteers come and go, because that's life. So this week we lost a driver, and I can't emphasize enough how important it is to find people that are willing to drive 28 kilometers there and back once a week or once a month. Or so if you think that's hi Mark. I said Mark, didn't I?
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm willing to help you.
Oh, fantastic. Because Mark, the gentleman in front of you right there, is an incredible art teacher, and he would like to go there go to San Pedro one morning every week to continue his work. Okay, so there you go. Okay, Gabby. We dance.
Ok, lo voy a decir en español primero porque creo que ustedes no saben esta historia. Voy a ser muy breve. Antes de venirme yo a vivir acá, yo sabía y tenía muy claro que así paralelo como encontrar un trabajo era encontrar un lugar en donde dar mi tiempo de calidad y mi trabajo como voluntaria. Y gracias a Cari, las puertas se me abrieron con poco a poco, curioso, puros extranjeros, después de que toqué varias puertas de asociaciones mexicanas o grupos, y ellos fueron quienes me invitaron. Y me siento muy agradecida de poder participar con ustedes y por el trabajo que hacen. So when I decided that I wanted to move here, I knew that I had to find a job, but also find a community that I can give my time and my care and my love and my work for free, And I knocked a lot of doors, Mexican communities or Mexican associations, but it was amazing that Cari back there was the one that opened the door for me. And I'm really grateful and I'm super happy that I can be helpful for the organization and also for the community. So I just wanted to say that. And aside of that, something that I've loved during the work that I've done in different communities or different projects is that this is a project that has a lot of goals and a lot of things happening at the same time, which integrates a full commitment to the community. It's not isolated actions, and that's amazing. Gracias.
I want to give a special shout out and thank you to Carrie Higgins, who's at the table at the back. Carrie has truly made this, don't tell her this, a full-time job. And without Carrie, we would not be here. So just really thank you to Carrie. Make sure you visit Carrie, Janie, and Francisco back there because they're selling these delicious buns. Also handmade jewelry and other stuff that you're going to want to have. Please look for us and all around here and ask us questions. And if you know anybody that might be interested in helping us or working with us, we have business cards in our pockets. We can give them to you so that you can contact us later or whenever you like.
And we have a question and answer period now.
Oh, yeah.
Loretta?
If I can just say, we're going to bring the mic out to them, but please remember this is a time to ask questions. If you want to give a narrative, please sign up on our website to give you one.
Hi, I'd like you to back up a bit because I'm still a little confused. Is there an age that children must go to school in Mexico? That's a yes and no, but I know that every family, even if they have no money, needs to have a certain amount of money so the child could go to school. So can you explain to us the minimum that it takes for getting any Mexican child into a public school system?
They don't have the mic up there.
Gabby, I'm going to answer the question. So to answer your question, from what I know, children in Mexico, the law would be that children in Mexico have to stay in school till grade 6. Am I right?
What year do they start?
They start, in the public school system, they start, ¿cuántos años tiene un niño que cuando se empieza en primaria?
5 años el kinder. 5 años el kinder. Y después 6 años primaria.
Okay, so they start when they're 5 years old in kindergarten, and then they have 6 years till they leave. So they're about 11 when they leave.
And what's the minimum cost that a family has to pay? 'Cause I know
Okay,
they have
so
to
the
pay
law in
for-
Mexico is, I believe the law in Mexico is school is free. In reality, that's not the reality, that's the law. That's the Mexican law. It depends, so it depends, the people will say it's 2,000 pesos per child per year. The way we did it, the way Anita did it was that she sat down with the moms and the children and they talked about what was needed. And so some families needed shoes for this child, uniform for that child. The school, you have to pay school fees and you also have to pay school supplies, toilet paper, floor cleaner, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of not in accordance with Mexican laws, but it is in accordance with the reality in San Pedro, Mezcala, and other places. And so, so we were helping 30 families. They had 54 children, but not every child needed as much because they had the uniform from last year or the shoes from last year, or you know. So our costs were more along 1,500 pesos probably, or even less actually. So. We hope to double the number of kids that we enroll in school in this August, and that's a big part of our fundraising. I'm glad you asked that question because that was in my notes, but I didn't say it because there's just so much to say. So we are really looking forward to having money to enroll more kids. We did get a grant from the from the St. Andrew's Anglican Church Outreach Committee, and that already for August, and that's going to help. We got a donation from one person of 20,000 pesos. That's going to help. We'd like to raise another 50,000 pesos. These kids are for sure going to need tutoring because they'll be illiterate when we find them. When they come to Anita, that they haven't been in school, and that teaching thing is costing us 2,400 pesos a week. So yes, Rita.
No.
Okay. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Boy, this is exquisite, thank you. I know that volunteering is the route to happiness, and my volunteer time is occupied. How do I become a monthly donor?
Come and get my business card. We have a website. Okay, everybody, let's
Get my handcuffs.
Okay, so we do have a website. Look for Poco, San Pedro Itzicán. My name's Doris Wakeman at gmail.com. On the Poco website, there's a donate page, so you can donate in cash. You can donate via some different ways. If you're American and you want a tax certificate, a nice way to donate is through the Foundation of Lake Chapala Charities. And so they have a whole bunch of charities you can donate to, of which we are there, Poco, San Pedro Itzicán. Did I forget anything, Carrie? No. Okay, so good. Rita says I did good, so I did well. Sorry. Any more questions? Yes? Hi, Margaret.
Oh, I have a...
Oh, hi, Sandra.
Hi, Doris. This won't be a narration, but I just wanted to say I met Anita and Sochi, who you mentioned, I think 9 years ago, maybe. And you brought up her name, and I think she's an example of what wonderful work and how it can change one person's life. So could one of you, maybe Francisco, talk about Sochi?
Quickly, Xochitl we met when we first got there in 2016. She was working as a brigadista. It's a youth brigade under the umbrella of the firefighters for the state of Jalisco. And so Anita and the then leader of this project, El Mayor, we called him, went through these towns and saw how much the need was for the children to have something to do. So they created this youth brigade that was training them as auxiliary firefighters, first responders. They would help in the communities as a workforce. So they got involved in something as opposed to just running loose in the streets, and this helped them tremendously. Xochitl was one of those children. She then became a high school graduate. She then went on to university. She enrolled as a doctor in training in the medicine program. A year later, she decided that a doctor wasn't really appropriate for her, but she wanted to be a nurse, so that she continued that route. She now is employed by a family taking care of an elderly man, and so she has made a life for herself going through these opportunities that have been presented to her. And she's a shining star, as you know, from nothing to graduate. She also, in between, she also trained and became a paramedic for the Cruz Roja. So she's outstanding. But without the support and the tutoring and the mentoring by Margarita, who's, I don't think she's here today. Margarita took her under her wing and became her mentor to help her throughout this process, and especially with the areas that were especially challenging for Xochitl.
The other thing I think is that Anita's been an incredible role model for all these kids.
I just related to the story of Sochi, and this is not to pat us on the back, but I just want to show you how just a little involvement can make a big difference. I had met Sochi and was really impressed with her, and she wanted to start paramedic training with the Red Cross, but she couldn't because she didn't have the money for her uniform. And so we put up the money for her uniform, and that helped her on this path. So you never know what little bit of something that you can do is going to make a big difference.
Thank you, Sandy. We have Margaret, who wanted to...
I have some brochures, and it has the Gmail and the Facebook contact and the website. So if anybody's really interested, come and
Thank you. Thank you for bringing those and remembering that. Yes.
You mentioned one of the things that they requested as a community was to increase their sense of pride, community pride. So was that something that just happened naturally as an outgrowth of the program? Or was there anything you specifically did, coursework, training, to help them achieve that goal?
I think that I think that it's really caused by them discovering their value. So we value them. We bring programs. They learn how to do things like make jewelry. So the jewelry program last year, their clients were American websites, businesses. They're a little bit hit by the tariffs now. This year they won't be as good as last year. But so what else? That they're just taking pride in how they're changing their own community. I mean, that community center is buzzing with young adults and grandmothers, and they're changing the lives of 200 kids a day, and they can see it, and the kids feel valued. And I think that when you demonstrate to people that they have value to you, you know, maybe that's not the right way to say it, but anyway, that's what happens.
Yeah, I believe it's collective with all these programs that we brought in with these amazing volunteers. We've seen improvement of quality of life overall, but also individually with people and families and their children. So I think to answer your question, it would be a collective whole of all the programs that are helping boost their own pride in themselves and in their community.
Okay, we have time for one more question.
What inroads are you making for the quality of the water in San Pedro? And I think, Francisco, I think we talked about this many years ago when you were here.
Yes.
I don't know what's happening now.
Doris, do you want to answer that, or shall I?
Please.
Water. Big problem, both there and here. How many of you have had interruptions or shortages in your homes this year? I did too for the first time this year in 13, 14 years. And it caused me concern. And it caused me a burned out capacitor in my water pump that I had to replace. So this is an issue everywhere, especially in San Pedro. So things like the pilot program for rainwater catchment systems that have been installed in 40 homes out there, thanks to Corazón de la Tierra and their support, are starting to have people think differently about how their water use is. So there's also, there was a mention of Rotary Club involvement this year. Rotary Club went out and did a co-project with one of the first village leading out towards San Pedro, not quite in the San Pedro area. That community is Ojo del Lago. And they brought in a simple water treatment plant because there was no water treatment there. Now they're working on a biofiltration outlet for that water so that by the time it gets to the lake, hopefully it'll be clean, because before it was just a runoff going through the town. So things, little projects like that are helping water overall, but especially in San Pedro. So Doris was instrumental in working with the University of Berkeley, California, in doing water studies to find out how the water really was. We instigated a garrafón, or a water treatment, not a treatment, but a deal with a local water provider there, drinking water provider. And Doris went out again and checked the equipment, checked out the procedure to make sure it was sound. We needed to buy our own garrafones, our own water bottles, because we found that a lot of contamination was that they were recycling everybody's water bottles, and maybe one water bottle was used for quinceañera that weekend, and it had horchata or agua de Jamaica or beer, and then that bottle would be given back to be recycled into the water. So we needed to isolate our own bottles, and so that's how we got around that problem. But other ways that we're seeing water quality being improved there?
Harvey Bernier and some of his friends put a 10,000 liter cistern in La Peña, one of the neighborhoods of San Pedro that doesn't have any water, and they get it filled up with a potable water truck periodically. Potable water here is not really what we would call potable water. Up north, you can't drink it. You have to. The garrafons are the only thing, really. It's on the table. Our new community center will have space, has space that is potentially available there for water purification, but that's a whole other theme. I just want to bring it back to the theme of the ripples, and I hope that you can imagine that you can imagine how when you drop a rock in a pond, it just ripples out. And that one small move, like the phone call, can make a world of difference. So make sure that you make a ripple. If not with Poco, with somewhere else. I'm sure you all do, all the time. So yeah, so just remember how important every one of you are.
Yeah. Thank you, Doris. I write a small column in a monthly magazine here called Ojo del Lago. And my column for May, the topic is water. And water specifically here in our area. So you'll have that to read next month. To the topic of the Passion Play around Easter, our wonderful editor for Ojo del Lago, Victoria Schmidt, in her editor's column is all about this process. And so read that column, read that article, because it defined for me the obvious, that I've been here for 14 years. I was born in Guadalajara and grew up here on and off all my life. But to have something as mundane, and I use that word not in a boring sense, but something as everyday that we take for granted every day, that a lot of people may not know the details and the beauty in those details. So read that article as well. I think that's our presentation for today.